basketball fans, it's me, DC, here to get you ready for week 19 of the fantasy basketball season. Also week 20 of the NBA season. I'll try not to do that every video, but this is the time of year where it annoys me that my numbers don't line up. It has nothing to do with it. Anyway, we're going to break down the schedule, talk about pace, defense efficiency, all that stuff. But first, I want to give you one waiver wire pickup. It's not the waiver wire show, but go check and make sure Cam Johnson's not out there. With Chris Paul being hurt, Cam Johnson was probably already deserved to be on a roster in your league already. He's at 52% right now, so he's over the normal 50% I use for the waiver wire show that'll come out later this weekend, and I imagine that number is going to be higher. So if we don't talk about him now, you're not going to get him. Maybe you can even grab him before Friday's game, depending on when I get this video posted. Last night, he played. We got to see them without CP3. He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. The 5 rebounds, 5 assists type of stuff, like that's the range he's been in already. Playing 31 minutes like he has. He got 4 3-pointers. So all of these numbers, it's not an aberration type thing. He had a good game. They're without Chris Paul. Maybe the minutes go up a little, but if not, they're going to need him even more. I think he's worth picking up. We can talk about campaign and any other pickups later when we do the waiver wire show, but Cam Johnson probably already should have been rostered, and I wanted to bring him up at the top of this show. With that, let's go look at pace and defensive efficiency. Now, there's not a ton that has changed here because since I did the last video, there's only been one night of NBA games. Thank God it's back. I missed the NBA. The NBA is back and all's right in the world. Except not. There's actually some terrible things going on in the world. But at least the NBA is back to give us some fun distractions and relief when we're trying not to think about the other stuff. So the teams that you want to go after are the same as we've been saying the last couple of weeks. Houston, Sacramento, Charlotte, Portland. If you want to add Orlando, San Antonio, Atlanta to that list because they're on the cusp, that makes sense. They're just not quite as elite to attack because of either pace or defensive efficiency not marrying up perfectly. Down to the bottom, teams to avoid: Cleveland, Golden State, Miami, Boston, Dallas. This has all been true. I've been curious to see what was going to happen with Dallas, and it's still a small sample size since Porzingis left, but their defense is really holding up. I think it's interesting. They might stay down here, and I'll be curious to see how this goes as the season unfolds. We took those numbers and apply it to the schedule right here. This is what we're looking at. What should jump out to you is Portland only has 2 games. Weekly lockly, going to be hard to use them, which is unfortunate. And then Toronto with 5 games, which brings me up with another note. This just came out as I'm recording the video, but OG has a broken ring finger. So you might be able to scoop someone up from Toronto and get extra use out of them for the 5-game week. I don't know how long OG is going to be out. I didn't even get to see really what happened. Did it break a practice? I'm unsure. So keep an eye on that. But with Toronto having 5 games, you might want to go peruse the waiver wire and see, like, is Chris Boucher out there? Maybe you can pick up, it's not Boucher, it's Chris Boucher. Is Boucher out there? You can go pick him up and see how it does. Beyond that, 17 of the teams have 3 games. Only 11 teams have 4 games. So most people are playing 3 games in your weekly lock leagues, but you're definitely going to want to target a 4 if that's available. Let's go ahead and look at what people with, like, say 4 games end up with more back-to-backs. Still looking at this, there's a couple teams that stand out by getting the nice Monday, Tuesday back-to-back. If you got an extra waiver move to burn this week as this week's wrapping up, then maybe you can go hop over because it was a shorter week. Maybe you weren't churning as much. So give a look to Brooklyn, Minnesota, or Toronto that all start with the back-to-back. You can make a pickup and get 2 uses out of that. Otherwise, it's fairly spread out. You can kind of find someone who's got a back-to-back any given day of the week, right? I mean, Houston's the only one with the back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, which I guess is a limited thing. But otherwise, you can mix and match for some of those things. If we're talking about the back-to-back players we get concerned about, let's run through it. Connolly for Utah, he kind of has a back-to-back. OKC game at the end of the week is the start of a back-to-back, so maybe he misses that. Just keep an eye out. Horford, no back-to-back. Embiid, yes, he hasn't been resting on him. I don't know how things are going to change with Harden, but I'm excited to see that game Friday and just see how this team unfolds. For the Heat, I've been always calling out Lowry as a person to keep an eye on, but he really hasn't rested that many games. Jimmy Butler's honestly missed more games this year, not necessarily always because of rest. But yes, they do have a back-to-back, so keep an eye out for that. Eric Gordon, yes, he's on a back-to-back. He consistently missed one half of that, so I would expect him to miss one of these games here. Dinwiddie, no back-to-back. Otto Porter Jr., no back-to-back. Kyle Lowry, he's got 2 away games, so he's going to get to play 2 out of the 4 unless things change. The rumor is that New York City is going to lift its vax mandate, and then Kyrie will be able to play in however many games are left. I've said on Twitter when I found that out that I imagine it doesn't impact our fantasy leagues as much as it impacts the real NBA playoffs. But that's not to say it won't impact our fantasy leagues at all. I don't know when this is going to happen. Are they going to set a date 4 weeks out, or are they just going to wake up and flip a light switch and suddenly he's back? I'm not sure. At least he's already ramped up and ready to play. It hasn't put us in a weird spot like we do with Simmons of saying, when's he going to be ready to take the court? But things are looking interesting for Brooklyn's playoffs. I would always rather the best teams be at full strength to see good, interesting basketball. But it is going to be a bit of a bummer if this really screws up some fantasy playoffs by teams that have it. Otherwise, I mean, flip side of screw up, people got rewarded for their patience if this happens. Switching off of that, if we're talking about teams to stream, it's a lot of options this week. If we break it down, none of the days have more than 9 games, so you can probably get people in there. Monday and Tuesday have 7 and 6 games. You can definitely stream there. And then Thursday, 7, and Saturday, 6. So those are the days to attack. Really, Tuesday and Saturday is what you want to kind of target. If you find teams, say, like the Lakers, who play on both Tuesday and Saturday, those are the lowest volume days. You'll get the most bang for your buck, but I'm not sure you're picking up guys off the Lakers available in the waiver wire. That's neither here nor there. Obviously, the number one team I would recommend going after is Toronto because they've got 5 games. 3 of them fall on the waiver days, so they're my number one ad. Otherwise, I'm looking at Sacramento, Minnesota, and Miami. You can see the boxes around them. They all have 3 streaming days and at least a 4th game somewhere in there in the middle of those streaming days. You can look at like San Antonio that plays on all the streaming days, but they don't have that 4th game if you're trying to just pick someone up for the whole week. And they also aren't hitting the magic numbers like Minnesota, who get to play both Tuesday and Saturday, which are the 6 game days, right? In a way, Dallas might be more valuable to you. They only have 3 games, but they play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You could use someone for all of those games. It really depends on if you're limited about your waiver moves or if you're trying to do like a front half of the week, back half of the week type of attack. If you're trying to break up your week like that, you'd want to look at someone like Brooklyn that gets to have the back-to-back against Toronto. They get a home and home on Monday, Tuesday, and then pivot somewhere else, say Memphis, who gets Boston, Orlando, Houston to end the week. You can combine those and try and get a 5-game week in there somehow. That's been a quick fly through of what we've been talking about. Thank you so much for watching. Leave questions and comments down below. I'll be back this weekend to break down the waiver wire as we get to watch more games finally and get some more information. Also, separately, it's time to get a little excited about March Madness. It has nothing to do with fantasy basketball, but we're like 3 weeks out from that, which is always cool. I don't know the exact date, but it's always around March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Seems to kick off. Anyway, thank you for watching. Good luck wrapping out this All-Star week. Go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you.